Hey, Wakusa, what's going on? It's your Ndugu, Shaka Jajaga Shakur, aka M. Casa, the Bush Doctor. Coming back at you with another episode of African Talk, where Africans talk worldwide. And as always, I hope you're good. I hope your family is good. And we pray to the Creator and the ancestors to lead our words in the right and not the wrong. So, with that being said, let's get into it with a whole new episode of African Talk. All right. All right, family. We're back. Once again, we are back, and I'm back with you, and I'm glad to be here. Yo, before I go any further, let's stop. I want to stop, and I want to have a moment of silence for three individuals who gave their life in service of the people. And those individuals are our sister Asata Shakur, our Baba, Imam Talib Abdul Rashid, and our Baba, who just transitioned last night, Imam Jamil Alameen, aka A-Trap Brown, aka A-Trap Brown. I mean, we pray that they are received by the ancestors, and we thank them for the work that they have put in. Now, there are other people who have transitioned too that I didn't name, right? And there's a reason I stuck with these names because they stand out the most. And but to all of the ancestors who have transitioned, who have given their lives and sacrifice to the people in one way or the other, we thank you. And I just wanted to start out by saying, with that being said, it's far time that we talk about the state and the situation that we are left in right now. With all this fussing and fighting going on between it needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed. No emotion, just real. Okay? And I want to start with this right back here. This flag. That flag is the African American heritage flag. Simple and plain. Right? Now, do I consider myself an African American? No. I consider myself an African in America. No doubt. But nonetheless, I get the spirit behind that flag. It's a flag made for Black people here in America so we can have a sense of singular identity amongst the rest of our family. People in Jamaica have a flag, people in Barbados have a flag, Trinidad, Haiti, etc. Then there's the red, black, and green, right? Those colors represent the universal cohesion of all Black people across the diaspora. It is the root of what is called Pan Africanism. Now, lately, the term Pan African has been broken down to like a group and like an organization almost. It's an ideology. It's no different. Let me show you the similarities in the foolishness. Donald Trump, the chump, is going around telling people that Antifa is an organization, a terrorist organization. When in actuality, the word Antifa is an ideology. It's a whole acronym. It's a breakdown of anti-fascism, and it's very deep. Now, there are a lot of groups that fall in under the Antifa ideology, but it's not an organization. Pan Africanism is nothing more than the ideology that we all are in this together, period. No matter if you're Christian, Muslim, atheists, traditional spiritualists, whatever. We all share a common ancestry and a common enemy. And there is a deliberate push to break that up, and it has to stop. I was speaking with an elder today, my uncle, and he was saying they had a meeting because every year in Harlem, they have the African American Day Parade. It's been going on for years, right? And also, since I would say 2007, around then, there's a large population of immigrant Africans who have come here, and they now have the African Day Parade. And in Brooklyn, for years, there's been the West Indian Day Parade for Black people from the West Indies. We've never had a problem. People go to all of them. The African American Day Parade, West Indians and Africans are there. I was the marshal at the first African Day Parade, asked to come there on behalf of the African American population. They accepted me and were like, "Brother, we see the work you do. Do you mind representing your people in our in our parade?" I said, "Of course. Spirit of Pan African. I'm down. Thank you for asking." So I don't know what y'all working with, and I don't know who you dealing with, but the brothers and sisters that I know from Africa have shown nothing but love and respect for our culture, and they take advice. So your company has a lot to do with the way you think, but I digress. And the West Indian Day Parade, we all go down there, right? And no doubt, those of us who have a trace of West Indian in our blood, we proud of it on that day. You know, I grew up with Jamaicans. I'm not a Jamaican. I grew up with Jamaicans. From time I was a little kid, my babysitter, my best friend. As I got older, all my friends in the Rasta movement and stuff like that. But I found out later that I am a descendant of Haiti. My grandfather on my mother's side is a Haitian who came to America many, many, many moons ago and started his family that later became my family, right? Do I rep now that I know I have a trace? Yeah, yeah. Just like my father's from the Appalachian Mountains. So the culture of the Appalachian people, black, white, and otherwise, is inside. I represent that too. That's what the beauty is about being able to have an idea, right? Okay. But what I don't like and can no longer stay silent about is how this symbol is being twisted the way your boy Hitler twisted the swastika, right? That symbol we know has nothing to do with Germany or the Reich or none of that, but he made it their symbol. So he twisted it, he perverted it, he sullied it. It'll never be what it was. It's no good anymore, right? Okay. So, like I said, there was a meeting after the African American Day Parade. This is what I'm told. And some young people were there. And they gave them time to speak. And those young people got up and we ain't Africans. Why are they in our parade? They ain't got nothing to do with us. Yada, yada, yada. So my uncle saw this flag. He had no idea that that flag even exists. So he was like, "Man, what's that?" And he proceeded to tell me, you know, he got offended by their behavior, which is rightfully so. You're causing division. Black people, when they getting along, you coming in here with division. That ain't welcome amongst the OGs. They don't play that. So he said to me, "Well, nephew, the only thing I know is the red, black, and green. That's all I know." Because at one time, that was the only flag for black people. Period. There was no other. Garvey gave that to black Americans, to the world, and everybody got up under it because it was the universal flag for all black people. But as time grows, information grows and identities start to step in. People realize they come from certain groups, which is no problem. There's ethnicities. There's no problem, really. It's not even an issue. But when you have pseudo leadership that really pimp the pain of the people and turn them into groups of hate, the same way Trump, the chump, is pimping the misfortune, the misunderstanding, the miseducation, and the misdoctrine, the misindoctrination, excuse me, of white people into believing that because they're white, things are just supposed to go a certain way. And they're waking up in the morning and they're seeing that they're not getting what they were told they were supposed to get because they're white. And as a result, they're angry now. So what do? The immigrants did it. Whether it's the Chinese, the Irish, the black, the native, or the Spanish. It's always someone else to keep them looking in that direction. And we're falling for the same trap. The people I mentioned, in particular, Assata Shakur and Imam Jamil Alameen, who, by the way, when Assata passed, you had some little bonnet-headed sister jump up and try to disrespect them. Me and many others step to that. But that level of disrespect wouldn't exist if we didn't tear down the unity and respect and communication that people like Asada went into exile to make sure we get. Malcolm stood on that stage. You guys praise him, but he stood on that stage and caught bullets behind the ideology of us uniting. Khalid Abdul Muhammad was taken out because he was trying to unite black people, and so many others. Imam Jamil Alameen, aka H-Rap Brown, has transitioned in a federal prison because of his only crime, which is loving black people enough to organize us across the globe. Even though he became a Muslim, he never stopped organizing black people. And he transitioned in the dungeon. And so many others have transitioned in the dungeon. And there are still political prisoners lingering in dungeons, exiled across the country, across the world, excuse me. And their only crime is wanting us to have a unified front so that we can withstand the tyranny that we're facing right now. And we are allowing individuals who have no track record, who have no history of doing nothing except charismatic talk, become these pseudo leaders. When I talk to people who are on this I don't like African thing, when I get past the rhetoric and I just stop, let me stop feeding back and forth into the argument. Let me step back and listen. So I step back and I do the science to what they're saying. And what I realize is most of them keep talking about they was disrespected. They are disrespecting us. They are talking about us. They treat us like this. They treat us like that. Feelings. You crying over the way you were treated? Okay. You're traumatized. I get it. I knew a sister personally. You know, we had a little attraction to one another. And she started in with this, what I'm African and blah, 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 and F those Africans and all that other stuff. And when I got to the root of it, well, come to find out, she dated someone from the continent who misused her. She's scarred. And this ideology feeds that pain. That white man who got passed over because of that black educated person that got in, woman or man who got in above him, that white man is now a MAGA. The white man who busts his ass every day on a construction site, yet educated blacks are now the designers, the architects, and he's still a grunt pushing hammers and nails together. Or that Mexican comes over with his Mexican crew and they do way better work than he does, or he gets overlooked because of whatever reason. He is that disgruntled person that the MAGA ideology slides up and recruits. That white boy who's not too athletic, not too attractive, not that popular, but he turns around and all the Spanish kids is all the baseball players and the black kids is all the basketball and football players and he all the Indian kids and Asian kids and black children who are not athletic or killing it when it comes to the intellectual property, and he's not none of that. Yeah, he becomes Carl Rittenhouse. He becomes those mass shooters fueled by hate because of their own despair. And that same thing is happening in the black community. It's got to stop. Delineation. Okay. When I was young, I remember there was a meeting, and I came to the meeting with a bright idea. We need to do. So they was like, "You're absolutely right. Go do it." So here's my thing. I'm going to give you what you want. You're a foundational Black American. You the first one here. Okay. Well, check it out. Being first means you're responsible for what's going on in the house because you're the oldest. You just said that you're the oldest one. So it's up to you to clean up the problem in our communities. What are you doing about that? What are we doing about that? Instead of banging and arguing about what other groups of blacks think about us or how they portray or what they take from us, what are you doing to safeguard it? Let's start with culture. We always talk about how they taking our culture, they imitating our culture. Okay, so hip hop definitely did start here in America, no question. So did jazz, so did gospel. You know what I mean? R&B, can't take that away. Rock and roll, we did all of it right here. But what did we do to safeguard it? You sell your culture out yourself. Never mind no goddamn African. We was skip jumping through hoops for the white man long before the African thought about grabbing onto our culture or even knew we had a culture. You sell out to the Tommy Mottolas of the world. You sell out to the white record labels of the world. What's that dude? Smurda, Bobby Smurda, dancing on the table, buck dancing all over the place like a goddamn chimpanzee. And then white people just looking just so he can get a deal and end up going to jail anyway. We talk about murder and killing and destroying our women and destroying ourselves. Yeah, that's what you spread around the world. That's why they cripping in Tokyo right now. That's our culture. That's your culture. Foundational Black American. Death, murder. You mad because they imitating death and murder? That's your culture? Because you mad because they imitating the over sexualized version of you created by the plantation? That's your culture. Do you know your culture? Black man and woman in America. So what are they really taking and what are you doing about it? What are you doing about the homeless situation? Growing our own food. And I don't mean a few patchwork farms here and there. Who among the FBA are taking the time to get off social media arguing and develop some serious networking that can benefit black folks here? Because if even if I don't say I'm FBA, obviously I'm here, right? I was born here. So what are you doing to secure, or is it just people that agree exactly with you? Are you fighting for all black people that are here? Or are you raising the hell for just your crew to make a point? So this young brother goes and disrupts a whole meeting with this argument. Instead of using the African American Day parade as a rally point for African Americans so that we can stop and look at what we got to do so that other crews can't talk about us. And it's the same thing, whether it's this FBA argument, but before that was an argument, it was who's militant versus who's really not militant. Because some of us got the right to carry guns. Massa let you carry some guns. Y'all think y'all more militant than everybody else. Meanwhile, what you doing? Or because you gave out 10 more cans of soup and your food give out, you think you more revolutionary than those guys over there who maybe gave out 6 cans less than you or 10 cans less than you. You see the foolishness? All this is being stirred up to keep us fighting. When as a people, a global people, we are in the strongest position possible. The European world is in shambles. The European is at their weakest moment right now. They're infighting amongst themselves, Democrat versus Republican, even Republican versus Republican. We should be getting ourselves together, tightening our reins. They got you crying over SNAP. Let me explain something to you. This welfare assistance program was created to help white people. We didn't have that. So we managed to do on our own, whether it's a church food drive or rent party or whatever, or the Black Panther Party with food programs. They weren't the first, by the way. They did a phenomenal job. But they rest on the arms of the Nation of Islam, and the Nation of Islam rests on the back of the Garvey movement. And even Noble Drew Ali's movement. And Father Divine and Father Grace and all them, they all had these massive community things, even them churches in the South. When I was a little boy, that's why I don't agree or I don't subscribe to religion, but I don't knock people who do. Because I know the power of those institutions when they're used correctly. I know the power of the church in the black community when it's used for that, not just on our knees praying to some mystery somewhere, but really utilizing it to organize in the community, to do for self. The church was our first bank in the black community. The first everything, the first schoolhouse was in the church. You know, when we go back to that, then I'll talk better. That's what FBA should be doing. You should be creating spaces like that. You should be teaming up with people who are born here who don't think like you, but we all think the same way. But if you don't want to do that, then you should be spending your time organizing these type of institutions so that we can teach our babies and they can benefit. So even if I don't join you, I can duplicate what you're doing somewhere else. You should be getting it together and spreading it. Imam Jamil Al-Amin died in a dungeon, man. An innocent man. He didn't do what they claimed he did. They framed him. And that man died behind bars. But he died like a warrior for what he believed in. But we have been so duped, we don't even fight for what they fought for. But we have the nerve to mention their names. You mentioned Nat Turner's name? Come on, that's extreme. We none of us gonna kill no goddamn white people. None of us. So that's an extreme. You mentioned Harriet, extreme. How you gonna escape slavery when most of y'all got the mind of a slave? You're not even brave enough to talk about the shit that you do. I talk about the shit I've done. I talk about the fact that there was a period when I was in the movement, knee deep, still 1 foot in, 1 foot out, still juggling around with the white man inside of me. Totally not eradicated. Even though I was garbed up, this up, that up, and all the other ups, but inside I wasn't up at all. When you gonna go to war with yourself? I went to war with myself. I got rid of people from around me who supported that side of myself. I got rid of situations and groupings that fueled that side of myself. I walk alone before I become that again. Before I allow myself to become that again, I will walk the lonely path. I'm good with it. Because there's a lot of people who like to see you off your square. And there's a lot of people who will feed you false doctrine to keep you off your square. So this fighting we're doing amongst ourselves, this is false doctrine. This is the work of the charlatans, the false prophets who will sit here. You don't want to talk your scripture? Let's talk it. It talks about the last days, the false prophets who will come to you with silk words. Even African fables talk about that. The charmers. And all they do is keep us divided for their benefit. They are the bloodsuckers of the poor who keep the masses of our people blind to the truth. And the truth is that everything they need is inside themselves. We are all we need if we work together. If we come together, we would realize we are all we need. But we got to come together first. Stop making excuses to stay separate and to stay, ruggedly individual. I mean, we have me and my crew over here, you and your crew over there, but we agree with you though from over there. Every time I get people that are doing things, I try to tell, well, why don't you hook up with these over there? Yeah. Me and my crew, we doing our thing. Yeah, that's true. So we're gonna continue moving like this and never like this. I tell you what, I got some things for y'all to do. One, get off your ass and go outside. Take trips and visit people that think like you, that you meet online. You know what? Because everybody online got an organization. And then when you get down to the nitty gritty, it's just one person. So how you put that to bed? Set a meeting up. Set a time where you can go meet them face to face. Or get them to video call you first if that's what you want to do. And then work to where you eventually have face to face meetings. All of you big Huda Hadas with the great titles, Grand Pooba this and Grand Pooba that, and leader of this and leader of that. I'm not talking to you because you on a whole nother level with it. I'm talking to the masses of people who get on here every day trying to find something. We right here. We all right here. We all we need. I'm putting it out there. Where I live, I have a little small patch that I live on. It's not much, but I am planning on starting a garden. And I'm in the Atlanta area. So those of you who are in the Atlanta area who are not afraid to travel a little bit down south, a couple hours south, I'm asking you to help me grow some stuff. And then I'm asking the rest of you who listen to these podcasts and things to help donate. I'm not asking for a lot, some seeds, a couple of dollars to get some seeds, or go on Temu and get some kind of garden tool, whatever, so that the work can be done. And when the work is done and the food grows, I will personally bring it to you. And it ain't a whole lot, but it's enough to show you we can do it. I don't document and do these things. I had an elder tell me one time, he didn't tell me directly. He said it in a real slick manner while he was on the stage. You know, you got people that's on the internet all the time and they look at me, look at me, look at me, referring to me because I was in the crowd. And he described what I had on in a roundabout way. You should be ashamed of yourself, elder. Well, you should be ashamed of yourself, old man. This internet, like I told my uncle today, this is the weapon of this generation. I'm the bridge between digital, analog, digital, and computer. I'm the bridge. So yeah, I use this medium. I put a lot of what I do out there because I want people to see that it's happening. Because that's how the enemy wins. The enemy wins by putting out false images and making you believe that that's the reality. So people that are doing that work, stop with the bullshit about, well, I don't want to film because you know it ain't all about what we do. You're not really doing it for the people because the people ain't standing with you. The people are not standing there when you do it, so they'll never know you doing it. So what the hell? You doing that for yourself then? Yes, film what you do. You know, when ICE raided that the apartment building in Chicago and did all that, they did all that just to make a promo video. That whole thing was to make a propaganda video that they are showing with them running around raiding people to recruit more members to ICE. Even Hitler understood propaganda, and proper propaganda is better than propaganda. Propaganda usually is lies to convince you to move a certain way, but proper propaganda is when you use technology to put the truth out there. Like big ups to a lot of the people I see online who are not waiting for schools to approve the education of Black history. They take it to social media doing it themselves. Big up to the Black people that I see using AI to teach gardening and this and that. That's what's up. Keep it up, y'all. You are the army. You are the continuation of this struggle. And I am with you. All the podcasters that are pushing out positive messages, keep it up. If you want to be a FBA, fine, do that. But stop the hate. Stop talking about everybody else and just push your agenda. And if your agenda is to lock things down here, then goddamn it, lock it down. Lock it down with responsibility, not blaming everybody else for coming in, taking and doing this, that, and because your ass ain't doing nothing. That's how they got it in the first place. I'm a street dude at the end of the day. I came off the streets. And the first thing I was taught, man, I caught a little L. I'm crying. They was like, man, shut up. Nobody took nothing from you. You gave it to them. You gave that dude took your pack because you didn't believe in yourself enough to go out there and do your own dirt. You gave it to him and he took advantage of you. You gave it to him. So if anybody comes into America and does anything and benefits off Black people here, whether it's Africans, Caribbeans, Asians, Arabs, Indians, whoever does it is because we gave them the lane. We didn't lock it down enough. We didn't go in when that store opened. You didn't go in there and have a conversation with that store owner like, this is how you're going to do such and such. Hell, when the building was empty, you knew you don't got no credit, but you had enough money to get it together. The discount malls are all owned by Asians and populated by Africans. African Americans have been pushed out, not because they're so great or they hate you so much. It's because your ass refused to stick together. It's your fault. So clean this shit up, get it right, and get it in gear. And stop belly aching. Let's build schools. Let's do what we got to do, man. I am only one man, but I'm trying my damnedest to do it all. This is what we have to do. No more discussions about how bad Black women and Black men hate each other. All you content creators who create that kind of content, enough. Enough. If you ain't solving the problem, shut the hell up. Please. No more gossip. I don't care what P. Diddy or Sean Combs is doing in prison. That's prison. I don't care. Like my man Mike Epps said, we are not going to keep celebrating mediocre bullshit. You go to jail, you in jail because you failed. Period. When you come home after them years, we're not celebrating drug dealers no more that come home from prison after poisoning the whole community. You come home and get treated like a hero. No, we're not doing that no more. That's what that propaganda led to. We're erasing that. You don't get no props because you're a 50-year-old gangbanger. You don't get props because you're a terrorist. You're a gangbanger. You gangbanging. You terrorize. And I don't want to hear no bullshit about what it used to be. It ain't that no more. All I see is people kicking in doors of people that look just like them. All I see is people taking lives of people who look just. I see black mothers crying because black children are being killed by black people. Misguided people. Yes, white people kill us too. Police kill us too. I'm not going to get into who kills more. It's not even a percentage issue. It's the point that we do it and we open the door for everybody else to do it when we do it. We disrespect our women. Yes, we do. Me included. We disrespect our women. And our women disrespect us. Back and forth, back and forth. It's time to stop. We don't have good relationship skills. That's why we run through each other, men and women. We get married for all the wrong reasons. And ain't no religion gonna change that. You can't pray your way out of this. This is something we gotta sit down and work on as a community. But not work on it by continually fueling the fire. That's what podcasters do. They fuel the fire of discontent. No, we gotta say, look, let's stop all that. Personal story. And I ask permission to share this. My oldest daughter, my firstborn, I haven't communicated with her in a while, constructive. It's been horrible, right? I was getting ready to write her a letter to tell her how much I do love her. And I hope that we can work it out. I kid you not. As I was thinking of the letter, she called. And her voice to me was basically, Dad, I want you in my life. I'm not gonna get into the whole conversation, but it was a signal to me that it's that simple for our people to do the same goddamn thing. There's pain between me and my daughter for a whole lot of reasons. A lot of missed moves on my behalf. I'm not gonna talk about her because I'm the dope. On my behalf, a lot of ego, a lot of anger, a lot of this, a lot of trauma. You know what? But that child stepped to me and was like, look, I want to work this out. What am I gonna do? Sit there? No. Are you kidding me? I gotta own up to the fact that I hurt my child. My behavior has hurt my children. Yeah, there are a lot of factors, but I'm not gonna play that game. I'm not gonna play that deflection game. There are a lot of factors, but I'm one of those factors. Now, once I admit that, I can go about changing. We hurt each other as a people. There's a lot of reasons why, but we carry it out. We divide ourselves. Our beef ain't with Africa, it's with Europe. Our beef is with white supremacy. Our beef ain't with another black person. Hell, my beef ain't even with an Indian. My beef ain't really with an Asian. Because white supremacy derived from Europeans. And not just American Europeans, Europeans, period. White supremacy is a pan-Europe agenda, pan-European agenda. And everybody else jumps on the bandwagon. I'm not going back 1,400 years. I'm talking right now. People come to this country and they side with white supremacy because it looks advantageous. Our own included. It's a reality. So what we gonna do, Black America? We gonna cry about it? We gonna point fingers at what they do? Or we gonna show them through our actions like we did 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, 100 years ago, when the whole world was against us and most of our people were still in chains. We didn't cry about it. We got up and we made it happen. We did whatever we had to do, whether it was escaping and building. Nobody, if you study the history, and I ain't gonna get into this slavery didn't exist argument, that's foolish. If you get into the history and you start to study, you'll see that everybody that managed to escape bondage, whenever they planted their feet, wherever they planted their feet at, the first thing they did was start building schools. They built a church. That was usually the first thing. Then a school came out of that. And then this and then that. So they could be self-sustaining. Even our people who were in the swamps, in the deep swamps of the Everglades of Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, North Carolina, all up in them swamps. The first thing they did when they got to dry land was to organize a community. And they began to do for self. The same thing in Jamaica, Belize, Africa, everywhere. It is time now for us to move with a sense of purpose. Don't tune in to the division. Don't feed into it. Somebody said online, well, we're going to organize with Black Africans for what? Then what? If that's how you think, we don't need you. Straight up. I'm not going to argue with people like that. We just don't need you. You're not needed in this conversation. Please leave the room. It's that simple. You're not with our unity, then you're with our downfall. And if you're with our downfall, you're in the wrong room. You can leave. Go organize your own thing somewhere else. Go find you, find you a little place. I'm going to continue to rep what that flag is really meant for. And I rep that red, black, and green flag right along with that flag. But I ain't repping no red, white, and blue flag. Mm-mm. See, the FBA flag is red, white, and blue. There's a reason it's red, white, because it's pushing you slowly back to there. They're slowly using the trauma that they created between us as the weapon to get you to separate and go back to the plantation. You calling yourself American again. You holding American values. You are our country, the immigrants, and all this crazy language. You sound like an American. You sound like a colonial servant. They call them a loyalist. That's what they called them in the Revolutionary War, loyalist. Anything anti-African is loyalty to the colonial crown, thus making you an enemy of the people. It's time to stop everything that we are doing that contributes to that problem. That's right. The smoking, the drinking, the running from man to man, woman to woman, all that. And if you're with people who support that, get away from them. Because they ain't gonna do nothing but drag you down and talk about you when it's over. Trust me. I'm telling you from experience. When I was out here going crazy, just losing my fucking mind, part of my language, the same people around me who were coaxing me on, even benefiting from the madness, are the same people that stood back and pointed a finger at me. The same people who were like, yeah, whatever, I'm down, let's do it. Oh, good, come on, whatever. Yeah, you the man. All in my ear with the flattery and the ego stroking and all that bull, and I ate it all up like cornflakes in the morning. Those are the same people who ran out and talked shit about me right after that. So I'm telling you, those people are not welcome to what we're trying to put together here. They're not welcome. Right now, the worst thing in the movement is gossip. The worst thing for our people is gossip because we have an artificial intelligence that can make gossip real. I went through a situation where I was, falsely accused of shit. Rumors started about me, and people flipped on me with no investigation. Later on, I was exonerated. Shit came to the light. People realized I was right the whole time. They began to, I'm sorry, Shaka, I didn't mean that, bro. I apologize, and I accept their apology because I'm an African. That's what I do. I accept you black like me. I understand you ain't. I ain't fully there. You ain't fully there. So I accept your apology, but I ain't messing with you no more because if you allow that kind of gossip, loose gossip, with no substantial base, a couple of grafted this and grafted that, allow that to just shift you without investigation, you're a goddamn liability to the movement. Never mind, Shaka. You're a lie. What you gonna do when the white man come with his technology? And that was 8, 9, 10 years ago or more. When there was no AI. Now, shit. Usually I do video with AI. This AI is real. And it's getting better and better and better. On the consumer level, on the intelligence level, oh my God, I can imagine what they got. And if you have no ability to stop and gather your shit and say, hold on, let me check this out before I run with it, you're a liability. You're no good. And I don't want to be around you. If you can't resist the urge to talk about somebody, to gossip or to push negativity, I don't want to be around you. You can't resist the nigga chip in you to not divide, not cause confusion and chaos. I don't want to be around you. Please go your way. I ain't even mad at you. You just can't stay here. Like my man Tupac said, I go eat, but you can't eat at this table no more. Period. I'm not trying to start a movement. I'm trying to wake people up to the truth that already know the truth. If you understand the unification of our people is the only solution, the only salvation, separation and unification. Well, Shaka, how we gonna separate white men? We live in this society. I keep preaching 70-30 to you. Push yourself to where 70% of everything you do is self-motivated and 30% you get from outside. Push that until that number keeps shifting and less in their side and more on your side. Most of y'all, here's the scale. This is them, this is us. Most of y'all way over here, right? So in that case, if this is them, this is scale, this is you. I did my mistake. You would be way over here. Because this is less you, more them. Now I want you to do this. Outside of going to work to feed your families, limit your interaction. You get home, limit the amount of propaganda you put in your head. Turn off some of these bullshit ass shows. We don't need no more crime shows and crime family shows and all that. You can't do two things at the same time. You can't. You put bullshit in your head, bullshit gonna come out your rear end. What you go in your mouth, come out the other side, right? That's true. So if you're putting bullshit in your head, guess what's gonna come out your mouth and your actions? Bullshit. You got to be strong enough to fit the music you listen to. Stop listening to this murder, kill, and destroy our future music. Straight up. Stop listening to this. It ain't romantic to talk about you want to F. That's not romantic. That's straight. I want to, that it's nothing romantic about that. These love songs are not love songs. These are lust songs. I fight for black love. I believe in black love, but we have to make sure black love is not denigrated to just lust. And ain't nothing wrong with liking the physical world. I'm not sitting here telling you to be celibate. If you do, you do. That's your choice. I'm not telling you what to do when it comes to that. But when we only see each other as physical outlets, that's a problem. And I was part of that problem too, because I come out of that society where we don't know how to express ourselves. So we express ourselves physically. That's why most of us end up being boyfriend and girlfriend after you have a session. I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible. After you have a session, then you end up becoming, attached. But you don't know how to be attached, so you don't know how to preserve the attachment. That's a whole nother thing for another day. But I'm way over my time, but I had to get it all out today, family. I'm telling you, it's time for us to do better. We have to do better. And we will, we can. But you can't have clean water drinking out of a dirty cup. We got to get a new cup. All this division, that ain't the cup we need to be drinking out of. That's not the cup. Period. And I'm not calling nobody out per se. I'm not wasting my time with all that foolishness. I'm just saying that message that's out there now is dividing our people. That's not the message. We're suffering because of it. Our babies are suffering. Our fighters are lingering in prison. You don't even talk about it. All these groups, they don't even talk about political prisoners. That's not even a discussion. You see how they have talked us away from the struggle? We so busy arguing about this superficial shit, we don't talk about political prisoners and how we could support them for all they've done for us. We don't talk about keeping up our institutions. We don't talk about building new institutions. We argue about trivial shit because that's what they flood in your inbox all day long. That's what generates this algorithm thing. It generates these likes and things that you guys run after on these social programs, platforms, because you're getting paid. So you run after what's going to get you the most, whatever. And controversy sells. We don't need that. We don't need that. If that's how you make money, go get a job. Do something else. We don't need that no more. So I'm gonna sign out right here, family. And thank you for being patient with me and letting me kind of rant on today and ramble. Please, for my words, I hope that something here inspires you. I need y'all to, like, subscribe, comment, add on in the conversations. I'm not doing this for pats on my back. I'm not a show monkey. I don't play the little tambourine waiting for you to throw a coin in the cup. That's not why I'm here. I got other things I could be doing. I'm here because this message needs to get out. And I need people to chime in. I need more of you. If you're doing something, if you're building something for our people, then I need you to chime in because I got other people I can connect you with. This ain't about Shaka. I am not an organization. I'm just one person who knows a lot of people. So if you are doing something, share it with me. Podcast, community effort, whatever it is, share it with me. And I will do everything I can to link you with other people and let everybody just start networking. I'm not trying to monopolize. You don't got to come through me. I'm not the gatekeeper. No, if anything, man, I'm passing the gate on. Everybody swap cards, whatever. Let's do this. Let's build this nation. Love y'all. Kusu. And, once again, man, all praises due to the memory of Imam Jamil Al-Amin, Imam Talib Abdul Rashid, our sister Asada Shakur, and anyone else, period, who is transitioning this time. Shout out to all of them and thank you. Thank you to all of the fighters and those I know and don't know for what you've done for us. And your son, brother, cousin, friend, Baba, and Dougal, Shaka Jajaga Shakur, is going to keep it going. I'm going to hold the line until I can't hold it no more. That's all life is worth. If we don't do nothing else, we should make a way for the next generation. For real. Wakusu.